Is Jess Mears. Thank you for joining us on the webinar this evening. We are having a little bit of a technical glitch with getting live on Facebook, so I am going to try to get us live on Facebook as soon as possible. But right now we are recording this webinar and it will be available after the webinar commences. So thank you for joining us. This conference call this evening, we're going to have with us the Convention Oversight Committee Chair, Daniel Hayes, 1992 presidential candidate Richard Boddie, and LNC Secretary Caryn Ann Harlos. Tonight we're going to be answering any questions you may have about the 2020 Libertarian National Convention. My name is Jess Mears and I'm the Libertarians Party's membership manager. I'm going to say a few more words about how we're going to moderate this webinar. The first 30 minutes of this call will have important information from Mr. Boddie, Caryn Ann Harlos, and Daniel Hayes. The last 20 minutes or so are going to be live Q&A. We're going to be taking your questions from here in the Zoom chat and potentially from the Facebook Live feed. So if you have questions, just ask them in the chat or the Q&A feature, and I will read them out. If you would like them to be anonymous, we can do that as well. You can also send me an email at jess.mears@lp.org, and I will also try to get those questions answered. So at this point, I'm going to turn the call over to Richard Boddie. He is going to be speaking tonight on behalf of Maj Toure. Maj is going to be at a campaign event this evening, and Maj is the keynote speaker at the Libertarian Party's National Convention, and so he is campaigning as he's running for public office right now. And Dick, if you could just go ahead and click start your video.
Okay.
And we will have you come onto the screen. All right, Dick, go ahead.
I'm there. Thank you so much, Jess, for having me. And on behalf of Maj, who blew me away, and we'll talk about that in a minute, as one of the more dynamic people I've ever seen in my life. I'm here to also promote the fact that many people who you may be watching or should be watching should be in Austin in May 2020. I think it's a time of our lives and our political careers to really think about how significant what we've been doing for the past almost 50 years is. The R's and D's are pretty well ineffective or just mean-spirited, and because of that, I'm just happy to still be around. But I think our timing is good now, and I've often said over the years that one day it's going to happen where we become the other party. And I think the timing is either 2020, which I had a pun about 2020 vision, where people might be seeing more clearly, looking for us, or to 2024, because it seems to me that the GOP is disintegrating. I see a parallel as a political scientist. I see a parallel between the Whig Party's demise in the 19th century and the GOP's demise in the 21st century. And I think we are going to be the alternative. I could say a lot more, but
Dick, do you have any experiences from prior conventions that you went to? As we may have a number of people that are interested in attending the convention and it might be their first time and they may have never attended a libertarian state convention before. What kind of advice or memories do you have that you would like to share with these individuals?
Having done many conventions over the years, I've been involved, for those of you who don't know, with the Libertarian Party since 1984. And my first experience with the Libertarian Party was in 1984 in California, in Hollywood, at the Universal Sheraton, where the California State Convention was being held. And I was asked to be the master of ceremonies for the banquet, presidential candidate banquet then. And I was really amazed at the depth of smart folks. I'd never been around in my life, that many. And also, I was aware at that point what libertarianism was. That's the problem many of us have. We don't really know what it is. That convention was the beginning of my experience, and I went on the road with David Bergland, who was the presidential candidate after that. in 1984, and I was his road manager and fundraiser. And from that, I just got totally involved in earnest with our Libertarian Party, with the issues, the conventions. I can just off the top of my head remember, and I spoke at a few. The 1991 convention, obviously, was the one where I was seeking the presidential nomination, and I had some interviews that appeared in, to this day are in C-SPAN. And the thing I found, if I were a new delegate coming to a Libertarian convention, I'd have to be impressed with the fact that most people who were there, who had any kind of input, were pretty bright folks. And that's, to me, what impressed me. One of the things that Madge, and I was watching him on the Larry Sharpe podcast show, great combination. Larry Sharpe, also a Black Libertarian who ran for governor in New York and last year, and Maj Touré, who is the candidate for local city council in Philadelphia. The thing that was so impressive there is that I'm watching two Black men who understand libertarianism, who never hesitate to express it articulately. And the difference I found was only that they happened to be in two different places, but when they merged, I felt, and thank you, Daniel Hayes sent me the link for that. And that's one of the most incredible experiences I've had in a long time, to see two African-American, I like Afro-American better as a term, but I'll go African-American men who were libertarians. And it was not a doubt whether they were or not. And that's the kind of feeling I had when I was at the conventions in 1985 in Phoenix, at the National Convention in Philadelphia in 1989, and obviously at the 91, because that's where the presidential nominations were being held. Most people who go to conventions are often surprised at how intense and how much fun they are. But one of the things that I think one can get out of the convention, if they do go, and I would hope you go, because the timing is right, is that you will never forget the experiences that you have, because we're dealing with political issues of national and international magnitude. And this is like, it's not like the Chinese checkers convention. It's not like the railroad model convention. This is some serious stuff. And we are the insurgent group, I think, that's going to make a real difference in this country, because if not us, then we're in bad shape as a nation.
Would you like to make a final invitation to individuals to come and join us in Austin, Texas?
Yes, I would. I fortunately will be there. I would ask that you seriously consider attending the National Libertarian Party Convention in Austin, Texas, in May on the 21st, I think it's through the 23rd. But get other people in your local areas to join, sign up, become members, and then become delegates to go to the convention, because the more people who get involved on a grassroots level, this is in history, can make a real difference. I submit even more than your vote. Your involvement is most important. And the Austin 2020 convention, I believe, is going to be quite significant. So I urge you to become a delegate. I urge all of you to consider attending the convention, and it's going to be fun. And I'm going to be the introduction to Maj Touré, who is our keynote speaker. And I think Dan Hayes said there'll be a panel we'll be involved with too. That's going to deal with, I guess, Afro-American issues or things of minorities becoming more involved in our party. But do come, do make it a point. It's a once in a lifetime experience. This one is going to be.
Thank you, Dick, so much for joining us this evening. I look forward to meeting you in Austin, Texas. We really appreciate having you on the call. The next person we are going to have on the call is going to be the LNC's Secretary, Caryn Ann Harlos. She is going to be sharing with us a very important deadline that is coming up, as well as information that's that is necessary for anyone who's interested in coming to the Libertarian National Convention in 2020. Caryn Ann Harlos, go ahead and start your video, and the floor is yours. Thank you.
Okay, did it start?
Yes.
Okay, because Zoom has a million flyaway windows. So coming up, the next big deadline is October 31st. And why is October 31st important other than getting a bunch of candy? It is the day after which I'll be calculating the number of delegates that each state affiliate is allotted. For those of you who do not know, delegates are allotted based upon certain formulas. The first part of the formula has to do with the percentage of the national vote total that the presidential ticket got in that state in the last election, that being 2016, and the other being the number of national party members on the deadline of October 31st. And, putting all that into, a magic hat comes out with the delegate numbers. I do have the projected delegate numbers so far. If the delegate allocations were done today, well, actually with the last figures I have, which was the beginning of the month, I know what everyone's would be, but you have a month still to affect that. And that basically was my goal here, to answer questions about delegate allocations. And Jess might need to help me with a screen share here, because I wanted to show what the delegate allocations are so far. So I think I've got this right here. Hit share. Is my Excel sheet up?
Yes, it is.
Okay, perfect. So just taking, for example, why not Colorado? This column here, total projected 2020 delegates, if we were figuring them out today, Colorado would have 34. I have the 2018 numbers for comparison. We had 34 then, so we didn't gain or lose. And the way, again, this is figured is we earned 10 delegates from our 2016 vote totals. There's not a thing we can do to change that. But we earned 24 delegates from our BSM, which is bylaw sustaining national members. If we get more bylaw sustaining national members by the end of October, that 34 can increase. So if all of you would, want a good idea of where your state is, just take a look at this chart and you can see whether or not you stayed the same, increased or decreased. Some did in fact increase, which is wonderful. And where your current numbers are at in order to increase your delegate totals. I can send this spreadsheet to anyone who's interested, and you can fiddle around with, like, oh, if we got 20 more members, how would that affect our delegate total? Only realizing that that is somewhat, it's not an exact science, because it's a percentage of the total number of delegates in the state, of national party members in the country, which right now is 14,139. So if I just went and added like 30 national members here to Colorado, we're assuming that no one else, that no one else increased their numbers. But let's just, for fun, let's make this 525, and that isn't even enough for Colorado to increase yet. So you can play around and see what numbers it would take for your numbers to increase. On average, it's about one delegate for every 20 to 25 national members, but that varies because we round up. And if you just barely met the cusp of rounding up, it would actually take 50, which looks like where Colorado is at right now. And let me pull back up my Zoom screen here. That was pretty much it for what I had. I figured people would have questions, but I really knew everyone was curious as to what their numbers were so far, because you want to get as many as you can get. In the past, it used to be, I show up at convention, I'll get a seat. There was always plenty of seats in states that were willing to seat out-of-state delegates. We learned from 2016, the last comparable one, which is a presidential nominating convention, that just doesn't happen. There were people who came in 2016 that could not be seated. They had to be alternates or not seated at all. So it's very important that if you can, you get seated with your state. And not all states will seat out of state delegates, even if they do have excess spots. I am doing in Liberty Pledge, and I'll also be doing a video series on the process of how to secure a delegate seat. Of course, it's still up to voting, but the process on how to go about doing that. For those of you who have never been a delegate before and are really lost, it's fine and nice for me to say, get a delegate seat, but I might as well be speaking Greek because you don't have any idea what that means. There will be some educational materials on how to go about that in this month's Liberty Pledge and each Liberty Pledge following, and there'll be supplementary videos that I'll be sharing.
Caryn Ann, here's a question for you. I'm going to ask because some people might be wondering.
Okay.
So say somebody lives in a state like Mississippi that is projected at this time to only have 6 delegate seats, and they might be realizing that that's not very many, and they might think that Mississippi might want to take more people to the national convention than that. You mentioned that adding more members can increase the delegation size. So what would you impress upon the people in Mississippi to do if they wanted to see that number go up?
Recruit national members. The way I like to put it, go out there. If you're planning on being a delegate, go out and sign up national memberships, because the delegate seat you earn may very well be your own, especially in states that have more of a limited number. But even in the states that have higher, that can get filled. It did in 2016. So, the states with 6, then you have the states with Colorado with 34. No matter what state you're in, increasing your national membership numbers increases the voice your state has in the selection of the next LNC, bylaws changes, platform changes, and the next presidential candidate. No matter who is nominated, someone is not going to like it. That's just the way it is. So I say, if you want your state to have the best chance of loving everything that comes out of convention, get more delegates so that your state has a bigger voice.
And here's another question I'm going to ask you, because I do hear this from time to time, that individuals might just want to come to the convention. Perhaps they might be in Austin anyways, and they might be intimidated by the delegate portion of the convention. What would you say to them?
Well, first, you can come no matter what. You don't have to be a voting delegate to observe everything. To be a voting delegate just means you get to debate and vote. But there's absolutely nothing to be intimidated by. And I have to tell you, I know on social media, sometimes we libertarians can seem to be a scary lot. But when you come to convention, it's like you're with your tribe. And the people there will bend over backwards to explain the process to you. You will not be lost or made to feel silly. And anyone with questions leading up, you can always get in touch with me. I haven't been in the party that long. And before I got in the party, I'm ashamed to say I probably couldn't even tell you how the government worked. That's how uninvolved I was. So I remember what it's like to be like completely green and feeling dumb. And I love to help people get up to speed. But there's absolutely nothing to be intimidated by. And it's a lot of fun.
Thank you, Caryn Ann. A question came in from Albert. Albert is already registered for the convention. They have their hotel room registered, and they're planning on coming. Albert would like to know what they need to know to become a voting delegate. How does one become a voting delegate? Do they need to go to the state convention?
Okay, see, he's in Virginia. Each state chooses their delegates differently, and that is dictated by your state party's bylaws. Your best bet is right now to get in touch with your state party. On lp.org/states, it has the contact information for your state chair if you don't know it. You can write them or send their Facebook page a message and ask, what do I need to do to become a delegate? And they'll let you know. Typically, yes, you do need to go to the state convention, but that's not true in every single state. But I would say that's true 95% of the time. And usually at convention, they elect their delegates. And remember, there's also alternates. So say you really want to be seated with your state and they filled their delegation, they do get to name alternate delegates, which means if one of the primary delegates does not show up or has to leave the floor, they get to substitute in alternates.
Thank you, Caryn Ann. Here's a question from Eric. Eric is asking, are the delegates the ones with the tokens to choose presidential candidates?
Yes, but that isn't what the tokens are for. The tokens, it can get confusing and it changes each convention. What the tokens generally do is say who's going to get to be in limited debate space. Because anyone can be nominated. Anyone that can go up and you can nominate anyone as long as they accept the nomination and that they're qualified per our bylaws and the Constitution, you can nominate them. But the tokens have to do with whether or not they're going to be allowed certain debate time, because if you have 100 people, you can't have them all on the stage. And they won't even necessarily use the tokens if there isn't too many, that they'd rather have everybody get to debate.
Thank you, Caryn Ann. That's all the questions we have received at this time related to delegate allocation. I'm going to go ahead and stop the screen share, and we are going to go ahead and move on to Daniel Hayes, the Convention Oversight Committee Chair. And Caryn Ann, if you don't mind hanging around, we may have some more questions. Thank you. All right. And Daniel Hayes, I am going to be bringing you up here in just a moment. If you can click start video. And Daniel Hayes is our Convention Oversight Committee Chair. He's been working with the Convention Committee to plan our national convention, and he also has served as the Convention Committee Oversight Chair in past years. Daniel, let's go ahead and hand off the call to you. I know you have a lot of information to go to share with everyone who's interested in learning more about our national convention.
Hi, Jess.
Hi, Daniel.
Do I need to switch this to get it up there, or am I up on the screen?
You are up on the screen now.
Okay. Yeah, I was having a little technical difficulties early, so I didn't get to do the test. Anyway, so one of the things that I think people need to do if they want to know more about the convention, the first place that they should go is lnc2020.com. That will take you to the official convention site. One thing that we have that's different this year is did I lose my connection? Am I here?
I think you have some connectivity issues, so I'm going to go ahead and put the screen onto a convention promotion piece for a few minutes.
Gotcha. Okay. So, in any event, all right, lnc2020.com. One thing that's different this year from previous years is we are going to have a convention app. One thing that we are looking to do is put a lot of the information there into the app, so it's a one-stop shop. Now, if you go to lnc2020.com, at the top of the screen when you get there, there'll be some links that you can click on, one of which is app. And when you click that, that will take you to a page that will have links to which you can click on to go to your respective devices app page. And so it's Android and Apple. There is also an HTML website or URL that you can go to it from a PC. It is more bare bones and not as feature filled, if you would, as the apps from Apple and Android. So we're going to have a lot of information on there. There's some rudimentary schedule that is on the convention website. We've started to list some of the people that will be speakers there. Maj Touré, of course, is going to be our keynote. You're going to be one of the speakers, Jess. We're going to have other staffers in there. Patrick Byrne is slated to speak. You see there Jim Cantrell. He was one of the founders of SpaceX with Elon Musk, a race car enthusiast. We've got Laura Epke, Larry Sharp. Dr. Howard Westman's coming back. He spoke at our last convention. Lisa Jaster, one of the first women to ever go through Ranger training. Jeff Hewitt, arguably the most successful Libertarian elected official we've had ever. Joel Trammell, basically a CEO guru that lives in the Austin area. Boomer Shannon, the mastermind that got Jeff Hewitt elected. We've got a lot of people that are going to be there. Andrew Heaton, if you've ever seen his videos, Star Trek, the Libertarian Edition, Libertarian Dad Jokes, he's going to be emceeing our opening reception. So those are some of the people that are going to be speaking. We've got a lot more coming. We're going to be adding more of that stuff to the website. We're really, it may seem like there's not a lot of information there, but we are more organized sooner than we ever have been for a convention. So it might seem like, oh man, there's not a lot of information, but we have much more information available in organization than we have ever had in the past. So, and with that in mind, this is arguably looking to be the most successful Libertarian convention we're going to have. If you have not booked your hotel room, you can go to the LNC website, or the Libertarian National Convention website. At the top where it says where, that'll take you to another page that'll allow you to link to the special reservation site that is passkey that is set up for you to book your room at our special rate. Our rate is only $139 a night. For the Austin area, that is an incredible steal. The hotel that we're staying at, the JW Marriott in Austin, currently for that weekend, they already have rooms that are going for almost $500 a night for the basic king and queen rooms that we're getting for $139 a night. The trick there, with us being about 224 days out, I think it is on the outside nights, the shoulder nights, like Wednesday, the night before registration starts, Wednesday, May 20th. Registration starts Thursday, May 21st. We are down to about 2 or 3 of the king request rooms and maybe about 20 of the queen rooms. Now, nothing's actually happening that day, but if you want to be there to make sure you catch everything, we recommend that you get there for that time. We're also getting low on the nights for the 25th, because those of you that have been to our conventions, they have a tendency to kind of run long. And we have a very, very hard stop at 5 o'clock on the 25th. We'll probably maybe have them taking the room down around us while we're maybe finishing things up. So it might be a little difficult for you to get a flight out that night, and we encourage people to stay till the end. We have had quorum problems because people have left and they haven't checked out. So if you're going and you're going to be a delegate, it is imperative that you make sure you're there till the end of business. So I encourage you, if you have not reserved your room yet, get it now. One of the things libertarians are very interested in into disruptive technologies, like Airbnb and whatnot. Austin is expensive. Other hotels are going to cost, a Motel 6 miles away is probably going to cost about the same rate that we currently have for this hotel. So I cannot stress enough, book your room, get your plans laid in place. It is the University of Texas is having graduation. That is a giant school. It's during that same week. And so there's going to be a lot of competition for the room. So I encourage you to book your room now. You know, if you are one of the people that you'd like to help make the convention, keep the convention more affordable, help it out. Besides, you know, get your package now as well. Let me back up to the rooms. You only are going to need a credit card or a debit card. They will not reserve any money from the room presently. They will only take the money out when you check in. So reserve your room now, get that done. And we recommend checking in May 20th and checking out for 11 a.m. on May 26th. So get that done now. We also encourage you, get your package now. The prices on the packages are going to be going up soon. I can tell you without a doubt, the best value relatively is the gold package. It's currently $429. It is the best value because we set it that way intentionally. We want people to get involved and be involved in everything. The gold package comes with a breakfast, 2 lunches, the opening reception, which has Andrew Heaton, of course, and it's going to have the gala. That gala is going to be Sunday, May 24th in the evening. And last time we had a great time. People were basically hanging off the rafters. We blew the doors off it, and it was very, very busy. And we encourage people to get in there and be part of that. Hopefully, we are able to introduce our presidential candidate at that particular event. We're not sure what's going to happen exactly with that, though, because the delegates last time set the presidential and vice presidential nominations as pretty much about the last thing that we're doing. Those things can change. The delegates can make a decision to move things around, but that remains to be seen. But because of our contractual obligations with the hotel and whatnot, the latest we could do that gala is the 24th. So anyway, get your packages and help support the convention. If you really want to take it to another level and support the convention even more, we encourage you to join the welcoming committee. You can find that by going to lnc2020.com. Right there, close to the top, there's a red button that says welcome. Click that, and it will take you to the link so that you could sign up for a welcoming committee package. What does a welcoming committee package do for you? It gets you a gold ticket. It's going to have your name listed on the website, which shows on that first landing page that you have when you go to lnc2020.com. It's got a list of the names. If you look at that particular list, it has the members of the welcoming committee. Now, committee, oh my gosh, I don't want to do any work. Well, the good news is this is a committee that comes with no work. Like I said, it helps to keep the convention affordable for others. You get some recognition for having done so, and you don't have to do any work. In fact, this is something that probably a lot of you are hoping maybe happens. If you've been to the previous conventions, Jess, could you get back onto my screen real quick for a second? I'm going to introduce you to another member of the welcoming committee that's here with me. Dee, come here, honey. Come see. Many of you probably met Bishop. This is him right here. This is Bishop. He was with us in New Orleans at the convention. He's kind of popular with the delegates. If you see, he's extremely handsome. He's talking to everybody. That's his way of saying he likes it. But anyway, Anton Hung, your leader is right here. Just remember that. So if Bishop can be a member of the welcoming committee, you can too. So help to keep the convention more affordable, help to fund the party, and get a little recognition for it. Jess, is there anything I'm missing? Because I've been talking for a while.
We have a quick announcement from Robert.
Hi, Robert.
Hey.
Oh, okay. Robert
Daniel.
Wants me to mention we are selling more and more of our vendor tables or exhibitor tables. We are basically out of all of the A-level tables. Those were $1,000. They were 8 feet. They were right in front of the entrances, between the entrances to the main hall, are B tables, which are across from that. Those are starting to go. We just had 2 more of those go today. Those are $750. According to what Robert's telling me, we have 50% of them sold already. So if you are thinking of waiting, don't. They're starting to really pick up. After the B tables, we have what we're calling the C tables along the back wall in that lobby across from the main hall on the 4th floor of the Grand Ballroom at the JW Marriott. Those are $500 a piece. So if you are waiting, if you would like to be an exhibitor, do not hesitate. Contact Robert Kraus or me, and we will, or go to the website and click on sponsorships, lnc2020.com, click on sponsorship, and there'll be links there that'll allow you to get your vendor table. Now, you have to use FEC funds, FEC eligible funds to pay for it, but people can pay for it personally. And we have descriptions of what is eligible. But as far as the FEC is concerned, as long as the money comes from an eligible source, they don't care what you do with it. So if you've got a business and it's a C Corp, which is one of the things that you can't do, you pay for it personally. You don't get reimbursed from the company. You can do whatever you want with it. If you've got some other organizations that can't normally make donations to it, if you make a personal donation, you get to do whatever you want with that particular booth. So like I said, they're going fast. Definitely sign up and get those. One of the other things that hasn't really been mentioned, last time we had gala tables that you could reserve, and they came with tickets. This year, we are just having the gala tables themselves. They're $500. They come with no tickets. But if you do get them, you can obtain gala tickets for your guests and yourself if you don't have them from your gold package or whatnot. You can obtain those at the lowest rate that we've had available, which is $119. And so we encourage you to do that. There's lots of ways to help support the convention. Caryn Ann earlier was addressing some questions from people about, well, what if I don't want to be a delegate? Well, that's what the larger convention and these packages are about. We're going to have lots of trainings. We've got Americans for Prosperity Grassroots Leadership Academy is going to be offering a whole lot of their catalog there and doing trainings for us. So we're very excited to have them. Their stuff has been very well received. We're going to have other trainings besides that. We're going to have speakers. Dick was mentioning earlier that a panel. Basically, the panel that we're putting together is going to be how to reach out to minorities. And so these are things that libertarians need to learn. We're going to have, obviously Andrew Heaton's there, funny guy. Naomi Brockwell is going to be there again. We're going to have debates with the candidates. Ken Mulman in 2016 did a sort of unofficial debate with every single candidate. Because the reality is, for our official debate, we really can't have more than 5 on the stage. It's not fair to anyone if you have a whole bunch of people up there. They just don't get enough time. And so that's where the token Caryn Ann was talking about are going to come to play, decide who gets on stage. One of the highlights of 2016 was Mark Feldman running around and getting that last token he needed to get on stage. And for those of you that were there, that was one of the most electric, exciting moments of my life. That he did again was just, it was so special. And Mark, was kind of the inspiration for our 2016 theme. I'm That Libertarian, which was his rap, and he's not with us anymore. Unfortunately, he passed soon after the 2016 convention, but Mark is always with us. And those of you that were there, you know what I'm talking about. Speaking of themes, if you see back here, the 2020 theme is Tan Staple, which stands for There Ain't No Such Thing as a Free Lunch. And that doesn't mean I got mine, you get yours. It means somebody always pays. Something might be free, well, somebody's paying for it. But it was a popular phrase back in like the late 30s. Bars would put out food and like peanuts and salty things because, you know, they were free, but you'd eat them and you get thirsty and you buy more beer. So there's a lot of, you know, sub meanings of it, but basically it's just no matter if something's free, somebody is always paying for it. That's the gist of that particular theme. So Jess, any other things we need to cover?
Yes, we are now starting to get questions coming in, and I will go ahead and share some of them. Here's a question. An individual applied to be on a few committees. We have recently emailed out bylaws committee, platform committee, and such. If chosen, does that automatically make one a voting delegate?
It does not. The delegates are determined by the state affiliates. The Libertarian Party has very little control over what our affiliates do. There's a few things that they need to do to maintain that affiliation, but in general, we are largely a bottom-up organization, and so allowing delegates to manage their own affairs is something that the party takes very seriously. One of those things is who can be a delegate. You know, to be a delegate, you've got to be a member of either the dues-paying member of either the national committee or your state affiliate. Each affiliate gets to choose how they select their delegates. Some affiliates will let others from other states be part of their delegation, and others are very strict that you must be a member and resident of the state that affiliate is in. So just circling back to that question, that does not guarantee that you will be a delegate. That said, I would encourage everybody to come to the convention. Things happen. Every state, even including Mississippi, which at the present time looks like it's going to have about 6 delegates, is allowed at least 50 alternates. States that have more actual delegates are allotted even that same number of alternates. But at the minimum, every state has at least 50 alternates. So I'd encourage you to come because, you know, we've got a lot of things that are going to be going on during business concurrently. We are looking to make the convention, which, you know, the business portion is extremely important. That's where we nominate our presidential and vice presidential nominees. The LNC will get elected for the next 2 years. We will decide changes that occur with the platform and the bylaws. So these are very important things that happen within the party, but not everybody is into that stuff. And some people want to go and have a good time, get some training and catch some speakers and things like that. And so we're going to have things going on at all times. Somebody that might be one of the delegates might want to step away, or they might be doing one of those breakout sessions that we have going on. And so they may just need to step away for an hour or so. And that's an opportunity for somebody that is an alternate to step in. Things happen to people all the time, unfortunately. And somebody that is a delegate might have something that happens and they're unable to attend. And that would allow you as an alternate to step into that role. But on top of that, some states may not fill their delegations and may still allow those from outside their state to help fill their delegation. That's a case-by-case basis. But, now that said, a lot of states, when somebody is named, you know, to the bylaws committee, especially if that's part of the platform committee, part of the allocation from certain states, it's complicated. This libertarians tend to do things complicated. So let me not get too far into that, but I would say someone that is named to one of those sorts of committees that are at the convention, credentials, bylaws, or platform committee, their state would probably weigh that heavier as far as giving some consideration to them being a delegate. But ultimately, it's up to the state. That's what else we got.
All right, here's the next question. When is the daily agenda for the convention going to be available, and when do you recommend for delegates to arrive and to leave?
So if you go to lnc2020.com and scroll across that top, I think to the right of the app is something called Schedule. We've recently added some of the highlights that people need to pay attention to with the convention, the business portion, and the bit as well, the convention outside of the convention. If you really want to get into the granular part of the schedule, we have put into the app something with more detail. So we strongly encourage you to go to the app, download the app from your respective Play Store. Once again, you can get that link from the website to your Play Store and get that app on your phone. If you still have the flip phone because you do not want the NSA tracking you, we have an HTML site that you can access from your computer that will have a lot of that sort of information that's found on the app. We recommend people arrive May 20th, Wednesday. We're not going to really have anything going on other than we will be doing some registration, pre-registration like we did in New Orleans. And then we're going to have more things going on the 21st, registration day. That's going to have those committee meetings, like the bylaws and platform, and the LNC is going to, this iteration of LNC is going to have their final meeting. And then we're going to have trainings and other things going on. We're having a little bit of some logistical things that we need to work out with the hotel to get a better grip on exactly where everything's going to be. This is a dynamic thing. The convention's always growing, and so these things shift. But we're going to have lots of things going on that day for people. So we encourage people to get there on the 20th so that they don't miss anything on the 21st. If you get there on the 21st, the world's not going to end. It's okay. But if you are a delegate, you must get there. I mean, we're not going to, come to your house or something, but it is imperative you get there to properly represent your state on the 21st at some point, so that you are there first thing in the morning when the gavel goes off on May 22nd, which is Friday, May 22nd. So we also recommend that people stay till the morning of the 26th. If you can squeeze into a flight, it's going to be easier if you're on the West Coast than the East Coast. But I would recommend not pushing it too hard if things run late like we tend to do. And you can get a flight 8 o'clock or later, or if you're one of those people that doesn't opt out and has TSA pre-check, don't throw anything at anybody, but TSA pre-check, you might be able to push it, to 7:30, but there might be a little bit of competition for the ride shares. Remember, UT graduation's going on that weekend, though I think they're done by Sunday, but we'll be getting out. So don't push it too hard. That said, we will have an after party like we did in New Orleans after the convention's over. Also, the LNC, when the convention ends, is the new iteration of the LNC is going to have its first meeting. And so that will go on. Hopefully it doesn't drag on for 2 or 3 hours like last time, but we're going to have a party. So we had a lot of fun with Pie to the Face. I just want to go ahead and brag right now. So basically the way Pie to the Face went was, if you got that person that you really don't like and you just want to hit them in the face with a pie, you can bid to hit that person in the pie hole with a pie. So you can hit them in the face with a whipped cream pie, and whoever's the highest bidder is the person that gets to do that. I just want to say my pie got the most money last time. You're welcome. So those are things that are going on. Jess? Any other questions?
We have a few more questions and then we're going to wrap up. Michael would like to know, will non-delegates be allowed on the convention floor?
Yes, we are a party that prides itself on transparency. The way things are at the present time, we still have enough space in our ever-expanding meeting halls to ensure that we have a gallery and non-delegates can attend, and there'll be theater-style seating at the back of the hall. We encourage our affiliates to police their own delegations, make sure nobody slips in or tries to jump in a voice vote or anything like that. But we, as I said, pride ourselves on transparency, so non-delegates will absolutely be allowed into the main hall. And there is no charge for that. Jess, did you freeze?
No, I am back. Okay.
There you go. You're moving again.
This wraps up all the questions individuals have about convention operations. So at this time, Daniel, do you have final remarks that you would like to share, inviting individuals to join us in Austin, Texas?
Yeah, so first off, just reiterating what Caryn Ann talked about. The cutoff date for memberships to help influence your delegation size is October 31st at the witching hour. That's when that snapshot will be taken. You need to be a member at that point. If you are not a member, your membership will not help to influence the size of your state's delegation. So you can do that, and if you need a link to be able to do that, you can do that at lp.org/Daniel. You can become a new member, renew your membership. That's one of the links. And so you can go to that link. Yeah, it's my personalized link. Yeah, I just plugged it. That will get you your membership. So that's important. We also need to encourage you. Get your rooms. I cannot stress enough. Austin is going to be not so cheap. So unless you're not wanting to stay 10 miles away and having a drive in, etc., book your rooms now. Take care of your plans as soon as possible. Also, I encourage you, get your package now because the prices are going up soon. So don't wait any longer. Come here, Bishop. Come say goodbye to everybody. You like Bishop? Be a member of the welcoming committee. And you get to say hi to him. There's going to be some other advantages with the welcoming committee. Some special perks that only welcoming committees or welcoming committee members are going to be entitled to. Something along the lines of pre-gala cocktail hours and things like that, exclusive with the speakers and things like that. So anyway, I encourage it. Welcoming committee. It's $1,000, helps the party, helps to make the convention more affordable for everybody else. And just to make sure everybody knows the dates, the convention is going to be May 21st through May 25th. So get your plans set and get to the convention. We really look forward to hosting you. This is going to be the biggest convention we ever had because, hey, everything's bigger in Texas. So Jess, I want to thank you for setting this up and hosting this. And I want to thank everybody that attended, and we look forward to seeing you.
Thank you, Daniel. Thanks for all of the information. If you didn't get your questions answered this evening, you can give Daniel a ping at daniel.hayes@lp.org, and I'm sure
Yes.
you'll be more than
One last thing.
questions.
One last thing. If anybody, you can send me an email. If anybody needs something or would like to talk to me, my number is 504-258-6176. I'm more than happy to talk to people on the phone if you prefer that. So don't be shy. Send me an email. Give me a call. I'm more than happy to answer your questions. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for joining us this evening. I just have a couple last remarks. If you are interested in running for President of the United States as a Libertarian or Vice President, or you would like to help recruit somebody to run for President, the person that works for the Libertarian Party that will give you the information you need to know to seek our nomination is Bob Johnston. You can email him at bob.johnston@lp.org, and Bob will personally have a phone call with you to help you get the information you need to know to seek the Libertarian Party's nomination for President or Vice President of the United States. During this call, we did have an individual, the George Washington Caucus sponsored a convention table for a table sponsorship. So thank you for sending in your sponsorship. We really appreciate everyone that is sponsoring the Libertarian Party National Convention in 2020. This really helps make the convention a success. And if you would like to help your state affiliate get more delegate seats, that's kind of what we've been talking about. And Caryn Ann showed us the projected allocation so far. The way that you can help is, first of all, become a member or renew your membership at lp.org/join. You can also ask your friends to renew their memberships or to become a member. It's with $25 an annual donation to the Libertarian Party. You become a bylaw sustaining member of the Libertarian Party. And you can also contact your state chair. Your state chair has the information of all of the lapsed members that are in your state party, and you can help by calling lapsed individuals and reminding them that their membership's lapsed and that you're trying to help get more delegate seats for your state affiliate. So if you're interested in helping out and volunteering at your state level, contact your state chair and let them know that Jess sent you. So thank you everyone for all of your questions, all of your time, and I'm sorry we were not able to get this live streamed on Facebook, but we will get this video uploaded to YouTube on Thursday, October 10th, and you can share it from there on YouTube. Thank you to our panelists, to Dick Boddie, the 1992 presidential candidate, and he ran as a Libertarian for president. He's also ran for Senate and for other offices. Thank you to LNC Secretary Caryn Ann Harlos for sharing the information related to the projected delegate allocation for our 2020 National Convention. And thank you to Daniel for all of your hard work that you do to make sure that our 2020 National Convention is going to be a success. Everybody have a nice evening. Please.